Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. It should come as no surprise that the number one team in our way too early Gridiron Expert Top 25 is in fact the reigning national champions, the back-to-back national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is fresh off a perfect 15-0 season where they dominated TCU in the national championship 65-7. And yes, Georgia does lose a lot from that national championship winning squad, including their quarterback in Stetson Bennett, but they've got a lot of talent. Carson Beck more than likely going to step in for that quarterback role. Brock Bowers is back as one of the best pass catchers in the country. Ra Thomas comes in at wide receiver from Mississippi State, assuming things are okay there. Dominic Lovett coming in from Missouri at wide receiver. This is a team that already was loaded with talent on the depth chart and has now added even more talent through the transfer portal. They're going to be just fine. And the schedule is even better, even easier. It looks like it very well could be a cakewalk to yet another college football playoff appearance, and we're here to break it down for you right now. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad that you could join us today. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in that description below, including our expert picks, including our website, thegridironexpert.com. Everything there to help you get through this offseason, because here at the Gridiron Expert, football never dies. The season never ends here at the Gridiron Expert. We want you to be a part of our GE Nation. We don't want you to miss out on any extra content, so make sure to hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any future content, don't miss out on record predictions that are coming up. This is the place for you. If you love college football, this is your home. Welcome home. Welcome to the GE Nation. So let's take a look at Georgia's schedule. Let's pull it up. I mean, guys, it's almost laughable at how easy this schedule is. And it's by no fault of Georgia. It's not their fault. I mean, sure, someone said they could have scheduled better in the non-conference. Okay, yes, the non-conference is a breeze, right? UT Martin, Ball State, UAB, and then, of course, Georgia Tech in the season finale, as always. But it's by no fault of their own that the SEC slate is a cakewalk. They can't help that. You just have to play the teams that are on your schedule. So you look, I think many people would probably think they're gonna walk through their non-conference, right? Which aren't all consecutive games. But I mean, 2-0 there. Then they host South Carolina before they host UAB, which will be the final non-conference game. But South Carolina, they beat by 41 points last year. And yes, the Gamecocks kind of caught fire at the end of the year. They upset Tennessee. They upset Clemson, nearly took down Notre Dame in their bowl game. Not going to be an easy out by any means for Georgia, especially with the return of Spencer Rattler for Shane Beamer in South Carolina. But it is in Athens. It is in Athens, and that holds a lot of weight. And it'll be interesting to see how this South Carolina offense is able to handle this Georgia defense. That's going to, of course, be the storyline there. So Georgia does not leave Athens. They don't leave the hedges until September 30th when they go on the road to Auburn. Obviously a big-time rivalry game there, but a game that Georgia won at home 42-10 last year over the Tigers. Now, yes, Auburn dealing with a new coach and Hugh Freeze, a proven coach, and has some questions across the board. Who's going to be their quarterback? Will the quarterback be any good? How about the defense? How are they going to fare? You know, this is a game that Auburn's a weird team because Auburn gets to host Georgia. Auburn gets to host Alabama. So the schedule is kind of there for Auburn to make some noise, but do they have the talent and the pieces to do it in year one under Hugh Freeze? I don't know if I'd go that far yet. Brian Harsin left that place in a bit of a mess. So Georgia does have to go on the road to Auburn. Not going to be an easy game by any means, especially with a rocking Jordan-Hare Stadium, but Georgia will be favored. Georgia would be expected to win, and I'm not completely sold on Auburn to do extremely well, at least not this year. Then it's Kentucky. They beat Kentucky by 10 last year. Game was a little bit closer, lower scoring than people thought, but it's a Kentucky team that's also dealing with a lot of new key pieces across the board, especially at quarterback. Yes, they added Devin Leary, the transfer QB from NC State, which is a huge addition to replace Will Levis, but Georgia, again, getting Kentucky at home. Then they go on the road to Vanderbilt. It is Vanderbilt. Georgia won 55-0 last year. While the Commodores kind of caught fire at the end of last year, getting a couple conference wins over Kentucky. I believe they had another one over Florida. You know, we're one win away from bowl eligibility. Clark Lee is starting to build something. He's starting to get momentum in Nashville, but nowhere near enough, of course, we would think, to take down Georgia, although we're not going to predict anything yet. Then the bye week. And then arguably you get into the tough stretch, right? Because we've already talked about Georgia Tech. So the toughest stretch for Georgia comes in the 4 games after the bye week where they take on Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. 1 at a neutral site, 2 at home, 1 on the road. So you get a little bit of everything there. Against Florida, world's largest outdoor cocktail party, year 2 under Billy Napier for the Gators. What are they going to show? Anthony Richardson is gone. If Graham Mertz gets the nod, do we really expect Graham Mertz to be the guy to beat Georgia? Graham Mertz, the guy that really couldn't do anything at Wisconsin and break down some of those defenses in the Big Ten to lead to Wisconsin offense anywhere? I don't know. Maybe he'll fit better in this offensive system. Maybe he just needs the right guy to develop him. Who knows? But Florida certainly has a lot of questions and had a very disappointing year year one under Billy Napier. Georgia won that game by 22 last year. Then they host Missouri. That's a good host for them because they nearly lost to Missouri last year, 26-22. That was a way closer game than anybody expected. I expect Kirby Smart would want to make a statement this time around. Say, hey, look, we know we almost lost the Tigers last year. Now they're coming to our house. Let's blow them out of the water. Almost a revenge game, even though Missouri didn't even beat Georgia. If that makes sense. So, obviously, Missouri's a team that had a losing record last year, 6-7, lost their bowl game to Wake Forest. Georgia getting to host them is big. Hosting Ole Miss will be interesting. Not an easy team out of the West, but again, the West draw, extremely favorable. They're, of course, always going to play Auburn. They didn't draw Alabama. They didn't draw A&M. They didn't draw LSU. They drew Ole Miss, and they get Ole Miss at home. So your two cross-division games are Auburn, who's always going to be playing Georgia, and Ole Miss, who you host. Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, that offense is going to be fun to watch. Fun to watch that offensive mind go up against Kirby Smart and his defensive mind. Going to be interesting. But we don't know who's going to be a quarterback for Ole Miss. Spencer Sanders, Walker Howard, Jackson Dart, who knows? It's late in the year. What's Ole Miss looking like? This time last year, Ole Miss was on a slide at the end of the year. 7-0 start, 1-5 finish. Who knows? Also going to be senior day for Georgia against the Rebels. That didn't help them out enough as it is. The biggest game on Georgia's schedule by far is the road game at Tennessee. Let's just cut to the chase, right? Super easy schedule. The game at Tennessee is the game that, I think for many, if Georgia's going to lose a game in the regular season, it's probably going to come in Knoxville at Tennessee. Last year, Georgia and Athens, Tennessee had the number one spot in the rankings. Georgia took that back real quick. Beat them 27-13 in a game that really was not nearly as close to the score showed. 14 points. Still a pretty good margin of victory. But the game was a lot worse than what 14 points showed. Obviously, Tennessee loses a lot of key pieces. Cedric Tillman, Jalen Hyatt, Hendon Hooker. But Joe Milton is back. Dude's got a heck of an arm. Heck of a quarterback for the Volunteers this year. No doubt about it. Neyland Stadium's going to be rocking, especially if this game could possibly determine who wins the SEC East. And very well could. This game could, depending on how Tennessee fares prior to that. Keep in mind, by this point, Tennessee would have already played Alabama in Tuscaloosa. So that's going to be something to kind of keep your eye on. But this game could have SEC title implications. It could have college football playoff implications. So this is going to be a must-watch game. And it's going to be one of the toughest games, if not the toughest game on Georgia's schedule. They get past Tennessee, they're probably golden. Get past Tennessee, I don't see any other team in the SEC East that could challenge them for that crown. Florida's not there yet. Missouri's not there yet. Vanderbilt, Kentucky, absolutely not. So Tennessee is their biggest threat in the East. And if Georgia can get past them, it's going to be done deal. That's it. Georgia Tech, they won 37-14 last year. So you get the gist, guys. Georgia's schedule, they're the reigning national champions, and they have the schedule lined up once again and the talent once again to maybe run the table, go undefeated in the regular season. Who they play in the SEC championship wouldn't even matter. Could be Alabama, could be LSU, could be A&M. It wouldn't matter because if Georgia goes undefeated in the regular season, they could lose that SEC championship game. They'd still make the college football playoff, and they would have a legitimate shot to win back-to-back-to-back national champions. A three-peat is not out of the question for Kirby Smart in Georgia. The talent is there. The schedule lines up for it. Strength of schedule is not great, but it's there for a team like this to just obliterate every team on their schedule, get to the postseason, get to the playoff, and after that, all bets are off. Georgia almost, without even playing a game, almost feels like a lot for the college football playoff. You got to play the games. You never know. We'll predict those games here in a few months. But the season, once again, looking very, very bright for the Bulldogs, and that's why they're number one in our way too early top 25. So, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below. Football here, guys, never dies. The college football season never dies here at the Gridiron Expert. We want you to become a part of our GE Nation and what we're building here at this channel. So like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any of our future content. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.